All right, good morning. I'm Doug Ward.
I'm Adrian McClinton.
I'm Hatchell Wentz.
Zachary Craig.
I'm John Lockery, and today we will be examining the relationship between emotional intelligence and effective leaders in business. So today we'll be going over emotional intelligence, which is divided into 5 components. The first 3 meshing together as self-management skills, and the second 2 meshing together as in terms of managing relationships. And after we go through those, we'll go through the process of learning emotional intelligence. So all effective leaders all possess a high degree of emotional intelligence, and these can be divided into 5 components, which are self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skill. IQ and technical skills are not really relevant to effective leadership. They're just what we call threshold capabilities. So we can have the best training, be incisive, and be smart, but we won't be a great leader if we don't have the full realm of emotional intelligence. Data and analysis has also shown that there's a direct correlation between the success of one's company and the emotional intelligence of its leaders.
So I look at the first 2 components of emotional intelligence, which are self-awareness and self-regulation. And awareness comes from what is known as the Delphic Oracle, which is a term that dates back to ancient Greece that many business leaders use to refer to their morals, principles, ethics. And it's significant because it means know thyself, and basically that know thyself will reflect back to being an effective leader. So what is self-awareness? Self-awareness is the ability to recognize and understand the moods, emotions, and drives, as well as the effect that it has on others. And there's 3 points to take away from that. One is to have self-confidence, and so to rely and trust in yourself and know your own capabilities. And then you want to have set goals that you know you can reach. Next, you want to channel negativity into positive productivity. So once you're self-aware, then you can have self-regulation. And self-regulation is the ability to control and redirect disruptive impulses and moods. So in other words, just use common sense and think before you act. And there's 2 points to take away from that. One is being trustworthy and have integrity, so do the right thing. And then be open to change and be open to change and comfortable with change.
When you talk about motivation and the first 3 components mesh together to form self-management skills in business. What is motivation? Motivation is a passion to work for reasons that go beyond status or money. So for instance, goals, when you're pursuing your goals, you do it with energy. And you take, for example, Bill Gates, CEO of Microsoft, and he's not one of the richest people in the world, so we do that. And what do we do with that? Motivation, you have to be committed and optimistic, even in the face of failure. Not all the time to do that. So when you're running a business or whatever, you have to be, I can't think of the word, but you have to be ready even when things are not going good. And motivation influences how you respond in the face of adversity.
Next 2 components, like John said, look at managing relationships, not exactly just focusing on yourself. The first one is empathy, and that's the ability to understand another one's emotions. This is the most easily recognized component out of all of them because it kind of comes natural to us. We notice when, for example, when a teacher or a boss takes time to get to know you or spend time with you, you understand that and kind of develop feelings about that. This allows you to consider employees' feelings, make intelligent decisions. You know what makes your employees respond the best. So when you're making choices, like I said, you know how to give them constructive criticism that they'll respond to and make productivity. Social skill, this basically is a concept that it allows you to flock people in the direction you want them to go. So once you understand them, they know that you care about them, you can basically give them criticism that they'll take and lead to production. You can it allows you to find a common ground, even when there's no relationship that you have with them. Like, you can be completely different people, but great leaders find a way to get a message across to everyone. Like John mentioned, both of these work on managing relationships, and the main point is that you must know yourself before you can manage these relationships. Quick business example to put this into perspective. These two guys are CEOs of businesses, and their companies merge. So this guy on the left right here gives a speech to his employees that there's going to be job cuts. He promises that he's going to be fair, and he expresses his own concerns about job cuts. The guy on the right gives the speech that's very gloomy and is more worried about himself and his own job and how that work out. So how does this, I guess, come into perspective is that the first guy, instead of worrying about himself, acknowledges the fears of everyone and supports them, whereas the guy on the right is, like I mentioned, was more worried about himself and is being selfish about it. So his division would obviously sink, and when you lose good employees, a part of the company goes with it.
Now that we've introduced all these values of what it takes to be a great leader, our second major point is that this is a process that can be learned. You're not born with it. It's scientifically proven that you can develop these skills through neurotransmitters in the brain, and over time you can learn this process. Like I said, it takes time and commitment. These components are required for business. You're going to need them, and like this class, the reason why we're doing these PowerPoints today is because we're trying to learn how to show off and use these skills. You learn through the process of doing it and the feedback that we're going to get from these papers today. Lasting benefits, if you're able to use these skills as a leader, you'll be able to get more followers, and individually you can go up the rankings and become, say, a CEO. And obviously from an organizational standpoint, that means you're going to have better followers who are committed to you and understand your drive and what you're trying to do. And when you have those followers like that, you're going to be more successful as an organization. Like I mentioned, it can be learned. Training, like I talked about, persistence and practice. So our points is that anybody can be a great leader. For our conclusion, like we talked about, effective leaders have emotional intelligence, and these are our 5 points that we made for leadership components of self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, social skills. And lastly, again, it's a process. If there are no questions at this time, we thank you guys for listening today.